Hello and welcome. My name is Hydro Kimono, and today I wanted to talk about the video games industry and the next-gen consoles and sort of what I think that means to anybody who's a gamer. It seems like there's a lot of companies that keep shutting down. Most recently, THQ shut down. I know other companies have had a lot of problems, a lot of layoffs, things like that. And a lot of the reason is because of poor sales, they say, and people just aren't buying their games. I think there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. I think a lot of it's marketing, and probably a lot of it is due to the pricing of games. And you can argue that the games are actually cheaper than they've been in a really long time. $60 sounds like a lot, but with all the millions and millions of dollars and all the people they have on staff that they have to pay, it's really not that much. But at the same time, I don't think that for me I need these epically amazing graphics, and I would definitely take lesser graphics for a cheaper price. I think I would be more apt to play more games if I wasn't having to go drop $60 at a time. I don't think most people can just go into a GameStop or a Target or a Best Buy or anywhere like that and just drop a whole bunch of money on like 3 or 4 games even a month. That's kind of a lot to ask, especially with the amount of games that come out every month that are these AAA titles that you just have to play. So I would prefer that the gameplay be solid, that the story be really good, but maybe the graphics aren't super amazing, if it means that they can make it for much less money and sell it for like $40 or something like that. I think that that's why we're seeing a lot of these digital games do better and better. A $15 or $14 price, even the $10 price looks a lot better than $60. And a lot of these games that are coming out are really, really good. So it's sad that there's so many game companies that are closing, but I think that when you're going to put millions of dollars into a game, hire like 150 people to make the game, and then expect it to sell millions and millions of copies, you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot. You don't know how many of these games you're going to sell. It's not like Halo or Call of Duty or something like that, or a Mario game that just has this huge built-in audience. When you're coming out with a new IP or something, you can't expect that you're going to sell 500,000 copies. Even 100,000 or 200,000 would be really good. And I think a lot of these companies, they dump all this money into it, they use all this manpower, and then, well, the game didn't sell well, so everybody's fired. Which leaves a lot of people jobless, which really kind of sucks. So I would prefer that they don't even bother with making these epically amazing graphics. I personally don't need that. I grew up on the Nintendo, and I think that maybe it's just nostalgia talking, but looking back at some of those games, I had way more fun with those games than I am with the current games. It's cool to have these really cinematic moments, like in these Uncharted games, stuff like that, and they're really fun, but I'm not having this great time where I just can't wait to play it over and over and over again. Whereas I bought Journey for $15 on the PS3 digitally. It's a 2-hour game, and I loved it. That's one of those games that I want to play over and over and over again, and I had way more of a emotional response to it than I did with any of the other games that I played, like Darksiders or even any of the Rockstar games. Like, they're cool, but who's got that kind of time to put 100 hours into a game? That's why I didn't play Skyrim. I heard it's great, but I don't have that kind of time. I want to get in, play a little bit, get out, play a little bit the next day or something like that. So, but I don't want it to take months and months, because chances are next month there's another game coming out that I want to play. So these next-gen consoles are, I think the PS4 is going to be announced at the end of the month, or towards the end of the month, pretty soon here, which means that the new Xbox is probably going to be coming out too. If the PS3 comes out this year, new Xbox is probably going to come out this year too. Obviously, everybody kind of already knows that the Xbox did so much better than the PS3 because it was out for a whole year prior. I was a big fan of the PS2 and had no interest in getting an Xbox, but when the Xbox 360 came out, there was nothing new coming out from Sony. I went ahead and got it, and then when the PS3 came out, it was just way too high priced, and it was just this whole huge this really huge debacle. And I waited till the price came down, and then I eventually got a PS3, and now that's the only console that I have. PS3's got its problems, but I definitely prefer the service over Xbox. Why would I pay monthly just for the privilege of playing online? That seems stupid to me. PS3, you can play online for free, and if you're a PlayStation Plus member, which is still cheaper than paying monthly on the Xbox, they give you a bunch of free games for the PS3 and the Vita, which I also have. So why would I bother with the Xbox? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, the online is maybe a little bit better, but I still had all kinds of lag issues. Still had a tough time online playing, first-person shooters. So I don't think it's leaps and bounds better where it really warrants the price tag that goes along with it. So I think it's pretty stupid. But these next-gen consoles, they're speculating that they might not play used games, which I think is really stupid. It'll be interesting to see if everything goes digital one day, and it might, but to me, I think that really sucks. I think that if I buy a game and I don't like it, I like the idea that I can go trade it in and somebody else can get it. And I know a lot of companies have not really been a big fan of GameStop selling used games because they're not getting that money, but somebody bought it initially, so they got money for that. I'll give you an example. I bought Saints Row the Third used. I think it was like $30. It was on sale or something, and I took a chance on it, and I loved it. And so the THQ didn't get any money from me for the game, but I bought every piece of DLC that came out for that game. So they ended up getting a ton of money from me anyway. Never would have happened if I wasn't able to buy it used and I had to pay $60 when I got it. I never would have bought it. Never would have got the game, never would have got any of the DLC. I think that used games are absolutely a necessity. Even for something just as simple as giving it to a friend and letting them borrow it just so they can check it out. If they don't allow you to do that, and that you have a code that's tied to your specific system or your specific account, that's going to suck. Okay, I don't rent games that much, I don't use GameFly or anything like that, but I do buy used games whenever possible because chances are I'm not going to like it. Usually I take a chance on something, and I'm not going to pay $60 for something I may or may not like. Plus, if I get it used from GameStop and I don't like it, no matter how much it is, I can take it back and return it, or even exchange for something else. So I get that the publishers should get as much money as they can. That's understandable. But it goes back to what I was saying about not putting millions of dollars in these games. If it's such a big deal, don't spend as much money then. Don't use 300 people on staff to do it, to make this rock look amazing. I don't need that. All I need is solid gameplay and a good story. So if I'm playing an FPS or something like that, or let's say Call of Duty, let's just use that as the easy example. I don't need these epic cinematic moments. All I need is for the hitboxes to be the right size, for me to be able to kill somebody when I shoot them, and for the guns to feel good. That's all I need. I don't need to have this crazy battle scene where everything looks fantastic. I don't care. I skip cutscenes. I don't even watch cutscenes. If a prompt comes up that I can skip it, I skip it. All I care about is the overall story, whether or not I'm really engaged in it, and whether or not the gameplay is good. I don't need these amazing graphics. So everybody's so worried about used games and then not getting the money for used games. Well, make it for cheaper and sell it for cheaper, and then you'll get more of my money. So I know that that's just my opinion on it, but we'll see if the next-gen consoles do play used games or not. I think that it would be a big mistake for them not to, just because if they don't play used games and GameStop's not going to make any money off their used games anymore, why would they bother selling the consoles then? Same thing with Best Buy. Best Buy's got a trade-in program. I'm sure they do great on used games, so why would you want to alienate those two of your biggest businesses? Doesn't make any sense. So we'll see what actually happens. Nobody really knows. That's just all speculation and hearsay. But anyway, I know this is sort of a weird topic for me to be talking about, but I do enjoy video games. I do play video games pretty frequently, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Anyway, leave a comment, tell me what you think about it. Are you going to buy a next-gen console? Do you think that the used game thing really isn't that big of a deal? Would you prefer to see everything go digital? Anyway, let me know what you think, and have a good night.